What happens if Power Rangers was actually a Marvel product? Originally, about 10 years before Mighty Morphin was released, Stan Lee had actually wanted to turn around and actually bring Power Rangers to America, and he thought it'd be really, really good. And he wanted to use Sun Vulcan. So I was reading this, I was quite excited because it would have been actually amazing. I think we would have got comics, you know, through the entire whole saga. We would have had different storylines, just like Spider-Man, Iron Man, Thor, the Hulk, everyone like that. And we would have had completely different characters. I reckon we would still have had the monsters, but can you imagine things stemming off a darker Power Rangers, a lighter Power Rangers? Now, if they had done this about 10 years before, this would have been quite interesting. But from what I've heard, Sun Vulcan isn't the greatest, but then again, I have never watched it. I'm just going off what hearsay is, so I can't really judge it. It could be the greatest one for all I know. But it was just quite interesting what Stan Lee had turned around and said. Being brought into this to America, it would have been interesting. But apparently I don't think many networks picked it up, or they didn't really want to. Well, guess what happened? Power Rangers comes out. Bam, you would have had a different thing, which would have been awesome, I think. So in this article, it just basically says that he wanted to bring it in 1982. So I would have probably grown up with this. Now they did it with Spider-Man, they did a Japanese version of Spider-Man, which was quite cool. I saw some of the clips where he had the giant robot, and then again it was kind of referenced. I didn't get this reference in the 90s cartoon when he goes, "I'm gonna call my giant robot Spider." I was like, oh, didn't realise that was happening. Didn't realise that was a shout out to that particular era of Spider-Man, which was cool. And I really like Spider-Man. One thing I quite liked this was apparently Miss America was meant to lead the team, so this would have been kind of the first thing we would have had. Can you imagine if this had picked up? You know, the whole premise of Rangers being different, you know, Japan would have made it, but you know, at the end of the day, we could have had female Rangers as leaders. We've only had one or two in the Power Ranger history, but actually having like Miss America from Battle Fever J, I think it was, that was something interesting, and I would have kind of liked this. Now I'm wondering if when Saban had brought this to the networks and they made Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that Stan Lee was like, really? I went to you networks and you said no? Really? Some other guy is? What the hell? And again, I don't know what Stan Lee's thoughts on this one. I'm tempted to kind of ask him if I ever meet him, or basically tweet at him. I might tweet at him and see what he says. Yeah, I'm quite interesting to. It was quite interesting to see this sort of thing, which I'm kind of wondering about. But when Stan Lee brought this to the networks, he did the same thing as what Power Rangers is. I think they may have filmed a general, like maybe like a quick pilot, and then kind of brought it. And again, I don't know what the network, obviously the network said no to it to some degree, but he did exactly the same as what Power Rangers did. They replaced the Japanese actors with American ones, and then basically had the voiceover. Now I would quite like to see this, I think, because if this newspaper thing's come online, I think this might stir quite a few things of people actually wanting to see it. So it's kind of an interesting topic. It's something that I think would have worked really, really well, because again, I think that this would have just stemmed to actually having comic books out and actually having a bigger kind of universe. Yeah, you would have had the same monsters and, you know, everything like that way, but you would have had something different. I think, you know, the way that Marvel is, it would be kind of good. And the sun's coming out and lighting my face. Damn it. Cloudy out bad. I looked at the sun. So yeah, I kind of think this would be quite interesting to see as it comes along, or would it be something completely different? This light is really... Thanks, light, for ruining my video. So yeah, you know, and having a female leader to start it off with, that would have been epic, and it would have been something unique and something different. So my question to you guys is, do you think that this would have worked back in 1982? Do you think that Power Rangers would have been completely different as if it was today, or do you think it would be something completely different? The question is to you guys is, do you think that this would have worked in 1982, or do you think that it would have failed? You know, would this have changed Power Rangers? Would we have had something completely different? And do you think we would have had comics? So quite a lot of questions of the day. As I move to the side and the light is really blinding me at the moment. So yeah, if you've liked this video, like, favorite, comment and subscribe, and I shall see you guys in a bit.